Please welcome back to the stage the Chief Executive Officer of eMerge Americas, Felice Gorordo, and co-founder and president of eMerge Americas, Melissa Medina.
Yeah. Woo! How's everyone feeling? Come on, you can do better than that. How's everyone feeling? That's what I'm talking about.
Last session of today.
That's right. That's right. The moment we've all been waiting for.
This is definitely saving the best for last. Up next, we have the eMerge Americas Startup Showdown, which is, as I've said throughout the last couple of days, as we've all said, very much the heart and soul of eMerge and the reason why we do what we do.
Amen, amen. Since the very beginning, we have focused on showcasing the best and the brightest founders from across South Florida and around the world. And when we say around the world, we mean around the world, from as far as Singapore and even including Cuba. We actually have a startup that came from Cuba and is participating in this year's showcase. Yeah, Let's give them a round of applause. And the whole purpose is to connect them with prospective investors right here on this stage and use our platform to be able to amplify their stories.
As Felice said, 100 startups have come from around the globe. LATAM, Europe, Felice mentioned Singapore, from all across the US. And they've gone through a rigorous process, virtual programming for weeks, and it's all culminating right here. We're about to see some 5 pitches pitching live for a $420,000 investment. $250,000 from Florida funders. Let's give it up for them.
Yeah.
Amazing commitment they've made. $120,000 from Panoramic Ventures.
Yeah.
Let's give it up for them. And $50,000 from eMerge. I also, before I bring on our amazing MC, I want everybody, if they can, to stand up to give a round of applause to all of the startups who have poured their blood, sweat, tears, and energy into this process. Amazing. We are so proud of you.
We are. You're all winners, and you're all winners. And now, for having participated in our Startup Showcase, you're all part of the family.
That's right. You're part of the eMerge Alumni Network and eMerge family. Without further ado, to MC this exciting finale, Startup Showcase Showdown, please welcome, this one word comes to mind, the fabulous Tammy McQueen, and she is a queen. Come on, Tammy.
Miami, are you ready? I am so excited to be back for the second year in a row at eMerge to host Startup Showdown and the Startup Showcase. We have seen over the past 2 days 100 of the top startups from around the world in Showcase Alley. And if you had a chance to spend some time with them, you will be inspired by their innovation and their passion for what they are building here, something from nothing. We have an electric afternoon ahead for you. These 100 startups that have whittled down to 5 today will be on stage. So again, give a round of applause to those 100 startups. A rigorous process, 5 startups will be on stage competing for $420,000 tonight. We're going to have them come up. They'll have 4 minutes to pitch and 4 minutes to answer questions from our judges. The judges will then go backstage and deliberate. Write the check backstage, because that's a question we always get asked. Do we know who wins before we get on stage? We don't. There's a blank check backstage and a Sharpie, so we'll write the check as it happens. The winner tonight will also get a chance to go into Venture Atlanta later this year. So incredible opportunity for the startups on stage tonight. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our judges. First up, we have Dr. Paul Judge, Managing Partner of Panoramic Ventures. Next up, we have Felicia Hatcher, CEO of Black Ambition. And rounding out our judges this evening is Ryan Whittemore, Chief Investment Officer of Florida Funders. All right. We're ready. The stage is set. Let's welcome our first startup tonight from the university stage. Welcome, Source.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night.
Mic is not working.
There it is.
There we go. Hello, everyone. My name is Mason, and our company Source is on a very simple mission. Make materials, do more for you, and less on the planet. You see, you may not know this, but everything you're wearing right now, those shoes, that jacket, I see those shoes, contributes to the second largest polluting industry in the world, fashion. That's because 60% of all the materials that are used in fashion today are made of plastic. Now, it's not like brands don't know this is a problem. You see, I used to consult for brands like Nike, Adidas, and Under Armour, and we quickly realized 90% of the leading apparel brands today all have made sustainable goals by 2030 to 2050 to completely cut their use of these synthetic materials. The problem is they need a material that performs well, is highly scalable, cost-effective, and is plastic-free. So what's the best resource we can use? Well, it's actually in our backyard. Cities like Miami and places in the Caribbean are spending millions of dollars per year cleaning up seaweed off of the beaches because they have no use for it. We found a use. Our team of designers and nationally recognized material engineers set out to solve this problem, where we turn seaweed waste into high-performing, highly scalable, and radically sustainable material alternatives where we can make leather and fibers that you can make fabric out of. Now, not only is our material highly sustainable and high performing, but we developed a proprietary yet simple process for this to scale. Now, we work with a manufacturer that sources seaweed off of the coast of Chile and places in the Bahamas, bales it up, and then we take that in-house, process it into the materials that we sell, the leathers and the fibers that you see here, directly to the brands. We're not trying to be the next Nike, we just want to service them. So we sell our leathers at $75 per square meter, which is pretty on par with what the industry is at today. And then in 2 years, we'll be licensing our fiber technology to manufacturers at an 8% rate of net sales. Not only are we launching a highly scalable solution, but we're targeting the leather apparel and accessories market because there's not a lot of competition in that space yet that we can penetrate. Now, brands not only love this source from the sea narrative, but they also get these performance specs where our material actually reflects heat, so when you leave your laptop in the sun, your devices stay cool. Now, after we capitalize on the leather apparel and accessories market, we're gonna scale that same exact value proposition to the automotive and furniture industry. Today, furniture manufacturers have to spend 20 to 30% extra cost coating their leathers for fire resistance. Our material is naturally fire resistant without the need of any coatings, so we actually save on logistics costs, and that's highly valuable to commercial furniture companies and automotive manufacturers. Now, we've had a good amount of traction in the last 2.5 years. We've received investment and support from the Adidas Family Office of Lead Sports and Health Tech. We've gotten grant money from the National Science Foundation, and we have a pipeline from over 30 brands we've been working with. And most interestingly, we've been working with the innovation teams of Puma and Ralph Lauren for fire-resistant applications, and one of our developing partnerships, Toyoshima, would scale our material to produce over $300,000 MRR per year, or per month. Now we have our first brand partner, Nicholas Kirkwood, that sold his company to Louis Vuitton. That's an upfront fee. We get licensing 10% on net sales, and we get co-branding all that opportunity, so we're excited to scale that solution. Now, so far, we've raised $575,000 out of a $1.3 million raise to finalize our IP, scale our production for the customers we're working with today, and bring in the engineers we need to perfect this science truly at scale. Now, thank you, and who's ready to join me on solving this problem at the source?
Thank you, Source. Let's hand it over to our judges.
Yeah, can you just talk to us a little bit more about your team and what your next key hire would be?
Sure thing. So my background is in material science and engineering. I also studied technological entrepreneurship, and this is my second startup. My co-founder also studied materials engineering. We brought on Nicholas Kirkwood. He sold his company to Louis Vuitton, so he's helping us scale the manufacturing in an effective way and making sure the quality of the material is on par. And then we also brought on a scientific advisor that's helping us really refine the technology and get it to a point where it's viable for the industry. And then we also have very close partners in the textile industry that understand how to scale new material innovations rapidly.
So I'll ask, it's like seaweed. I live on the beach here, and there's some days I go out there and you could smell the seaweed before you can see it.
Of course.
And so your refinement process, it seems like there's a lot that goes on there. You tell us more about what it costs to do that. Like, what does it cost to do the processing to get to a finished good versus what you can sell it for?
Yeah, so great question. So the great thing about what we do is we wanted to focus on what we do best, which is that materials innovation. Now, we have companies that are already producing over 300,000 tons of this seaweed and processing it down today. So a lot of people don't know this same material is used in Beyond Meat's patties and a lot of paints and thickeners. So that supply chain is already very secure. Right now, we sell our material at $75 per square meter, and it costs us around $40 to manufacture it. Now, that's at the current pilot scale we're at. Now, in the next 3 years, we can lower that cost from $75 selling to around $55 per square meter.
So I'm a little curious because you referenced, I think, obtaining the seaweed and other waste from Chile and the Bahamas, but you're right here on the beach, and there's seaweed washing up every day. So, like, why do you choose those places, and what is the cost to ship that here versus obtaining seaweed here?
Yeah, great question. So this is based on the manufacturer that we currently work with. So they are currently sourcing it off the coast of Chile. That's one manufacturer. The other manufacturer sources it from the Bahamas. Now, particularly, we wanted to focus on those manufacturers because those economies are directly hurt by seaweed washing up on the beach. These are tourism industries, so those are the most direct clients that we can work with. Now, that cost isn't really high for us to actually integrate the supply chain of the seaweed. It costs us around 3 cents per gram of the material, right? And that's, like I mentioned, from the cost of our material being $45, that's pretty on par with what you would expect in the industry today.
And are you having to ship that somewhere else then? I mean, I know a lot of the textile manufacturers are over in Asia and China, and so are you having to then ship that material over there, or are you just working with domestic makers here?
Yeah, great question. So we're actually working, like I mentioned, with our advisor and investor, Nicholas Kirkwood, setting up distribution in the UK so that we can actually service a lot of the industries there, because actually leather manufacturing is primarily done in Italy, right? So that acts as a really massive distribution chain. One of our other investors wants to set up manufacturing in Mexico as well. There's also a large textile distribution there. And in my previous job, it was my job to manage a lot of the supply chains for these manufacturers. And right now, a lot of US companies are nearshoring a lot of this stuff. So that's why Mexico is a really ideal place we can manufacture in the next 2 years. But then for that European market, that UK distributor is going to be super valuable for us.
Do you have any partners lined up? Like you mentioned the leather for the automotive. So do you have any automotive OEM partners that you've already struck? Or like, what's your traction so far?
Yeah, so far in the last couple of months, we've had over 30 brands organically enter the pipeline. So our plan over the next 8 months is, after we close this raise, is to focus on those 5 to 6 companies out of that 30 in the pipeline that we're going to work exclusively with. And then after we work through the prototyping phase with them, we're going to enter production. And we've already agreed on some pretty low volume starting out, around 300 units per brand. But then also we're working with the innovation teams within Puma and Ralph Lauren, where those are also great applications because motorsports for Puma is very low volume. Now, starting out, we're not going to be able to service them now, but in around 2 years, that'll be the point where we can increase our production from 1,000 square meters per month to 200,000 square meters per month. And that allows us to actually work with those larger brands. Now, when it comes to automotive OEMs, that is a bit more difficult to enter that market because you need to reach the proper certifications for fire resistance and safety and durability. So that's going to take about 1.5 years to really get those certifications down to enter that market. But what's good about automotive OEMs is you can get almost 5 to 7 year contracts with those companies. So it's long-term and secure revenue.
All right. I'm sorry, judges. I'm going to have to wrap it up.
Let's do it.
Thank you, Source.
Thank you so much, guys.
All right, next up on stage from the early stage division, we have Eugenia Virtual Humans.
Let's get down to business. Give you one more night to get this. We've had a minute.
Hello guys, good afternoon. Well, my name is Hans, and I am the CEO and co-founder of Eugenia. Eugenia is a company specialized in virtualizing humans, and even though it sounds crazy and futuristic, it's happening. And basically, there are a couple of industries looking for these services, like game developers, VFX, animation, and even digital health. To give you an example of this, basically, I don't know if you see the movie Fast and Furious. Well, Paul Walker died during a filming, and they needed to recreate him in order to finish that movie. So today there are two ways of creating these virtual humans. The first one is having a bunch of people during a long time, but it's really expensive. And the second one is using the traditional scanning tools, but they are not efficient because they can't capture the natural movement of the people. That's why we decided to create our own solution, a 64 camera rig in which with one click you can capture a real expression in a most realistic way and with the best quality in the market. We have current clients like Netflix, Electronic Arts with a cost per acquisition of $600 each. And basically we were the ones that scanned the football players for FIFA, and we have been participating in different movies, games, and video clips. Today we have three main revenue streams: the scanning, the processing of that information, and making that information efficient with automated tools. We are developing new revenue streams like this volumetric capture lab, in which we will be able to capture the range of motion in 3 dimensions. Everything synchronized in a cloud platform, and this cloud platform will help us to connect different scanning solutions around the world, and that will help us increase our revenue in an exponential way. So we started the company in 2020, and during these 3 years we have a 200% of annual growth average, and by the end of this year we're projecting to have $1.2 million as revenue. So we have a go-to-market strategy. We are attending to the most important events of the industry, and we are scanning and giving this 3D asset for free. So far we have scanned more than 500 people in this type of stands in 1 day. So we have different competitors with different business models, but we are better in terms of portability, in terms of quality, and in terms of price. We have been part of different acceleration programs such as Mass Challenge and Bid Inception, and we received an Epic Mega Grant. We received basically $65,000 to continue developing our technology. Today we have an angel investor and 2 mentors from the industry, Juan Nader from Technicolor and Gerardo Corona from Electronic Arts. So we have a multidisciplinary team led by the 3 co-founders. Carlos is CTO. He has more than 15 years of experience leading tech companies, and he used to be part of Lucasfilms, and he had a PhD on virtual humans. Ivan, CCO, that he's over there, he has more than 15 years of experience leading a commercial team for international brands. And me, the CEO, I have more than 10 years of experience leading tech companies. So today we are looking for an investment opportunity of $2.8 million to continue developing our technology, to finish our cloud platform, and to finish our volumetric capture lab. So we invite to virtualize the world together. Thank you very much.
I want to virtualize myself. There's a lot of times I'm double booked. I need to be in 2 places at once, right? And like, how do I do that? How do you make your platform accessible to like an end user consumer? What's the missing piece for me to be able to be a customer and then make use of my virtual self?
To be honest, we are now a business-to-business company.
Yep.
So we are like basically helping like this type of companies like Electronic Arts to make this happen. But in the near future, we will be able to have this type of technology in a smartphone. So that will be the next step, and you will be able to scan yourself and then use that information to put it into the video games.
So you referenced some pretty awesome customers there, Coca-Cola and Netflix, I think. And so 1, how did you get customers like that? And 2, can you give me an example, like how did Coca-Cola use your product? Like what were they using it for and what was the outcome?
Sure, well basically, as we are now based in Latin America, and we are the only ones doing that. and also there are a few systems like this in the world. So basically it's like something really in the niche. And for example, the answering the question of Coca-Cola, they wanted to have a virtual influencer for their internal communication. So that's some of the application that they are using it now.
Aside from capital, tell us what else you need.
Excuse me?
Aside from capital, or in addition to capital, what else do you need?
Well, basically, we are looking for also smart money, people that help us to grow and find new clients. So yes.
Are there,
Go ahead.
Are there ways to make your revenue model more subscription-like, so more recurring? It seems that a few of the things that you mentioned, like the initial scanning, it's a one-time revenue opportunity. And so, as you know, you always have to then continue to chase new customers and continue to do new customer acquisition. And it's always healthier if you can take that customer once you acquire them and allow them to continue to spend revenue on an ongoing basis. Or are there more opportunities for you to do that?
Yes, basically one of our main goals is using this platform, connect different scanning solutions, but not just ours. Like basically let the people like is in this industry use other type of scanning solutions, and with our cloud platform we will manage to process everything and deliver it to the final user in the easiest way. So that's our way of having this scalability, and also eventually, as I told you, using these phones will be like the next way of scanning.
So you've been around for 3 years, you've kind of steadily grown, and now you're going, I think the projection went from like 175,000 this year up to 1.2 million. So what's the catalyst there? Like, why do you have confidence in that number? What's going to get you there?
Basically, just stepping into the United States is like a complete different market.
I don't know. I see a lot of founders that they're here in the U.S. and they don't get that kind of growth. So like, what else?
Yes, basically, we have talked with now potential clients that they already told, like, if you are here in America, you will be able to scan like a lot of people in the East Coast. So that's one of the main purposes, that we need the investment to expand presence here in the United States, and being here will let us increase that in an exponential way. And also basically launching our MVP of the scanning platform. We will be like licensing this for the industry, like basically 3D artists, architects, and also even digital health. They are using that for basically having digital twins and simulate surgeries. So we want to give them that in the easiest way.
Are you saying, so some of your current clients are finding a better utility once you get to the United States, or just expand upon that a little bit more?
In the current clients?
Yeah, is that what you said? I'm sorry if I missed that.
Yes, but I can understand the question.
No, some of your current clients, you said once you get into the United States, you'll see the growth. Is that because they're finding a different utility, a better utility once you are based in the United States?
Yes, basically, as they are hiring us now to scan the Mexican celebrities, well, because of the scanning, we are moving it everywhere. So basically, being here, we will be able to put that system like in different locations in the United States. So for them, it will be easier to just hire us to scan them here. That's why.
All right, judges, thank you so much for your questions. And Eugenia, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, next up on stage, also from the early stage, we have Kind Design.
Hello, Miami! Woo! Hello, judges. I'm Anya. I'm the founder of Kind Designs. I was born in Ukraine, and when I was a teenager, I got the opportunity to come to this country because my father was offered a job at the space program. So I arrived to Kennebunkport, Maine, not speaking any English, definitely not knowing the cool thing to wear on the first day of school, but feeling so excited about becoming American. And so, like a good immigrant child, I went to law school, and that's how I ended up in Miami, where Kind Designs is based today. I graduated, I became a prosecutor, I'm living here, really enjoying life. And then I started to notice something that would change the course of my life. My city was sinking. And the scary thing is that the narrative around this problem, there's a clicker. The narrative around this problem is basically, oh well, enjoy Miami while you can, because by 2060, we will all be underwater. Here's a cover article from the Rolling Stones a few years ago saying goodbye. And that didn't make sense to me. So I started to look into space, and I learned that the first line of defense to rising sea levels is seawalls. And the very first seawall like this that we put in the water 100 years ago is exactly the same product we're still putting in the water today. It's expensive, it leaches chemicals, and it destroys marine habitats. In fact, we will destroy 50,000 miles of marine habitats by 2040 by installing seawalls. So I started to think, how can we save our city from rising sea levels and protect our sea life? And that's how we came up with our patent-pending 3D printed living seawalls. So the way that seawalls are made now, like you see in the picture above, contractors make their own panels with molds. We make the panels below using 3D printers. We print a panel in 45 minutes compared to what usually takes 24 hours. Our living seawalls meet all the building codes, same strength, same installation method, but they also function like reefs. They sequester carbon. They have built-in sensors at no additional cost. Our living seawalls are cheaper than toxic conventional walls. That's why we already have $4.5 million in purchase orders, and we start production in June. And the seawall market is huge. In Florida alone, contractors spend $500 million a year making their own panels, like you saw in that picture. There's 596 of these seawall contractors. These are our customers. U.S. will spend $416 billion on seawalls by 2040 at bare minimum, and globally there's 507 cities at risk who need this technology. So there's so much room for growth. Our business model is super simple. It's B2B. We just make panels, we sell them to contractors, and they do all the installation and the permitting. And for them, it's the same price to make their own panels or for us to deliver them the panels already ready to go to the construction site. We make money, obviously, by selling seawall panels. We're already doing this at a 30% margin. Just by capturing 10% of the Florida market alone, our revenue projection 2 years is $60 million. Plus, we make money from selling data and carbon credits. Our team comes from the Boring Company, which, as you know, is Elon Musk's company that also uses concrete panels, but for tunnels, and Icon, the biggest 3D printing houses company in the United States. It's a combination of engineers, scientists, and 3D printing experts. We're raising $5 million for our seed round. We already have $1 million committed, all from strategic investors. Our biggest customer, the biggest seawall company in Florida, from a former Secretary of Energy and a Florida congressman. And we're raising $4 million more and seeking the award here today so we can start printing, because at Kind Designs, we have one mission: that every toxic seawall is replaced with a coral reef, that every coastal community in this country is protected, and that every at-risk city in the world is saved. Please join us.
What's the lifetime of a seawall that you're creating?
The lifespan of our panels is identical to conventional seawalls. It's about 40 years. But that's only because building codes require us to use rebar. You know, it's like the metal poles that they put in structures. Without rebar, our seawalls can last 300 years, and we already have a technology to achieve the same strength with no rebar. So as soon as the city allows us to start installing those panels, our lifespan will be 5-10x the conventional seawall.
So I just put in a seawall, so I have like thousands of questions for you. I'll try to keep this brief, but I'm very intrigued. But when I put mine in, I had 4 different regulatory bodies. Everybody's got to get their hand out. Everybody's got to get it approved. And you just talked about getting the rebar approved. So like, my question to you is, how do you get this simplified to all the municipalities throughout the state and actually scale this without like getting caught in a nightmare of trying to get everything approved?
We don't need anything else approved for our panels to go in the water today. If they have rebar, they're ready to go in the water today. And again, we sell them to contractors, and they do the installation in the identical way that they would install a regular seawall, because we have the same dimension. It's still concrete, except ours is non-toxic. It doesn't leach, and the same strength. As long as we meet the strength requirements, we're ready to go in the water today. That's the beauty. It's a slight adjustment to a traditional product, but that has massive environmental impact.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you go. Okay. You showed us the cost to manufacture, but like, what is the average order per contractor?
Sure. So
Order
we sell a panel for $2,500. The smallest order is 10 panels. So $25,000 is our smallest order. That's like for a house that's on the water. But these projects get huge, 100 panels, 1,000 panels, 2.5 million panels is actually pretty normal for a government project.
And when you sell to the contractor, did I understand that you could either sell the panel or they could build their own version of your panel?
No, the only competition to us, a substitute for what we're doing, is contractors can make their own panels using molds.
Okay.
But the molds are flat, concrete shaped panels. They can't have the details that for the panel, our panel has, which enables it to be a reef. You can't achieve that design with molds. It can only be achieved with our 3D printer.
Got it. So you always do the printing and then you ship it to them and they always do the installation?
Exactly.
Okay. And do they lose any margin in doing that? Because some of the seawalls they were building before, they would do their own building of it. And so they had some margin built into that. So do you find that they're losing money by using your panel instead?
No, they're actually marking it up because they're selling the end user a product that's so much better for the environment, for the community, and they're able to actually charge higher prices for those seawall projects with our panels, and they're much more likely to win a bid. Imagine if the government issues a bid for a big government project and they submit a proposal that's also building a reef. It's a really great thing for them as well.
Are these geared more towards government buyers, or is it more towards the residential new seawall at somebody's house?
We just B2B. We sell panels to contractors. They do projects for government or for private homeowners or buildings. But for us, it's very simple, just B2B and a very concentrated customer set. Just seawall contractors.
And it has all the functionality of a regular seawall, all the protections, but all these enhanced benefits of the reef.
For free.
So
that's awesome.
Free.
Maybe help me understand I love the energy for you. Yeah, right?
Thank you so much.
Right? Help me understand like the competitive kind of protection that you have. Like it's such an amazing idea. That is the differentiation, the printer that you have, or is it patents around the design, or as you grow and become successful, what keeps the 500 and something seawall contractors from saying that's an amazing idea, I'd like to do that too, here's my versions of the same thing?
Sure. What makes us unique is the robot. It's the only 3D printer in the world that has this speed for us to achieve these amazing economics. We print a panel again in 45 minutes compared to 24 hours. And it's very high resolution, which means that the printing layers are small enough for us to make the panels in the design of a reef or to have caves where sea life can hide from predators. But the business model, so everything I've described so far is phase one, B2B. We make the panels, we sell them to contractors. But this is not a Miami problem. It's not a US problem. There's 507 cities who need this technology. So in 2025, we scale by launching a platform where we empower contractors in all 507 cities to purchase their own robots with financing, so it's accessible. We give them our local materials partner and a library of designs that we're building now that's custom to all kinds of sea life that's unique in their areas. And that's how we have global impact.
All right, judges, I've got to cut it short. We are over time.
Thank you so much, and thank you. Oh my God, this was so fun.
Love the energy, right, on a Friday afternoon? All right, next up, we have Healthbird from the late stage division.
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I'm going to tell you something about health insurance, and you're not going to fall asleep when I talk about it. So how many of you here, by raising your hands, have actually ever experienced health insurance in the purchasing process in the US? Raise your hand. How many of you hated it? I'm assuming 100% of the hands were kept raised. Simply why? Because health insurance is broken in the US, and it's very difficult to acquire health insurance that's both effective, cheap, and also accessible consistently. So when you go to the doctor, you actually know what you're actually bought and utilize it properly. So that's why we built Healthbird. This is not my first venture. This is actually my fifth company that I founded. My last company was in the space of healthcare as well. It was by the name of Ola Doctor. We sold that company in 2017 to a large insurance company. And from that moment on, I said, we're not going to build another company in the health insurance space that's just for profits and for the transactions. We're going to build one that's going to help consumers all over the United States access health insurance simply, efficiently, and actually want to go to the doctor when they're sick and when they're ill. And that's why we build the Expedia of health insurance. I need to actually get the clicker here. So in part, the problem that we're solving is the complexity and the human bias that's built into the broker system that exists today to buy health insurance. When you buy health insurance, there's so many options. There's 200 plans in zip code 33131, which is my zip code I live in. That's one zip code. You know that by every zip code here in the state of Florida, just in South Florida, there's over 300 plan options that you can choose from. Imagine you having to choose as a human who has no idea what you need and what you want from a company that what they want to do is avoid paying you for your health insurance and healthcare needs, choosing a plan from 300 options. That's where we come in. So our machine learning AI makes it extremely simple and navigates you through the whole process of selecting the insurance, making sure that it's easy for you to understand what you're purchasing, and then when you actually purchase it, guess what? You can use it. That's the beauty of it. So when we built HealthBird, we didn't want just a simplified insurance marketplace. Oh, you can go buy shop insurance like there is for a million other types of services out there. We wanted a one-stop shop where you can book your doctor's appointments, manage your medications, manage all those health insurance benefits that all of a sudden United Healthcare now has to pay for because you got from them, and also overall medical benefits. So when you go to the doctor, you know what your lab results are, you know how much medical intake you used on your deductible, and on top of that, you get all these other perks that include the gamification process that we built to make sure that you are constantly utilizing your health insurance in the most appropriate way possible. So let's talk a little bit about the market size, right? Our customer demographic is actually not the typical person. We are talking about the gig economy worker, the people that kind of get left behind in the back scenes, the guys who are delivering your Uber Eats to the conference earlier today. All those individuals that are in gig economy jobs all need health insurance, and they're all looking for alternatives, and they're not finding it because they have to call a broker on the phone. They have to spend 3 hours on that phone call, and then buy a health insurance that ultimately doesn't even meet their benefits that they require. So that's what the market we're after. There's about 15 million people enrolling every single year through the broker methodology on the individual market. And 3.5 million of those 15 million people are doing it through healthcare.gov. And raise your hand if you've ever had a great experience on healthcare.gov or insurance marketplaces that are built by the government. I doubt anybody's hands will go up here. But that's who we target, that's our persona, that's the type of customer we're helping today. And we have obviously a B2B side as well, which I can talk a little bit about later. But let me give you a little bit of stats of where we are today. So we're the fifth ranking app on the health category for health insurance. So if you go to the App Store and you download our app, you'll see that we're number 5 on the health insurance category on the App Store. We are also one of the most fastest growing health insurance brands out there for companies like United Healthcare, Aetna, and Cigna. We have partnerships in over 25 states, and we are also compliant with all the departments of insurance of each individual state and each individual federal mandate that we obviously have to go through. So this is a very, very competitive business model in the sense that we destroy the ability for a traditional call center to compete with us because we make it easier, more affordable, faster, and more educated decision when you're making that purchasing of insurance and utilizing your insurance. To give you a little bit of stats of where we are today, we have over 2,000 paying members. We launched in November 1st of last year. We already have $480,000 of monthly recurring revenue. We have 120 full-time employees in over 7 countries, and we have about $9 million in annual recurring revenue expected at the end of this year. We have a 25-state footprint, and we're adding 3 states every single quarter as we try to expand. It is a very expensive ordeal to add states, so we do it in conjunction with the state departments and the departments of insurance of each individual state in order to roll out our coverage and our program in that state. A little bit of projections. We expect to be at $33.5 million in ARR by 2026. We're going to be profitable this year. We already have a cash flow positive business as we stand today, and we're going to be extremely profitable by the end of 2026 as well. Our team is consisted of myself. I'm the CEO, my COO, and slash wife, by the way. Gotta make sure I can put that in there. Slash wife. She used to work at Tesla, Lucid Motors. She also has a background in operations. We have people from all the walks of life, from CEOs of previous companies that have joined us and started this venture with us. And we're just very lucky to have the time here at eMerge to show you our company. And thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to your questions.
So we invest in health startups, so I feel like every other startup that we see is trying to perfect the marketplace in some sort of capacity. Can you very simply explain to us how you're using AI and machine learning to make the experience better?
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. So we use a couple of variables, right? The person, we don't want to overwhelm you with questions, and we know that the user experience, especially for a direct-to-consumer e-commerce place, has to be simple, easy, and not a lot of intimacy right away, right? You can't just ask them for Social Security the first question in. So we ask them a very, very small amount of questions: first name, last name, email address, and just your date of birth. And then we ask you, hey, would you like to see if you qualify for a subsidy? Then we ask for your income, and we guide them along, and our AI is actually guiding them along all the questions and explaining the process. What our AI is doing is actually qualifying them and understanding what plans actually make sense as they're adding questions. We built a regression algorithm that understands all the past behavior of all of previous customers we've had and previous data from insurance companies that we've taken as part of our kind of logistical underwriting. And then we add that on top of it. We add weather information. We add information about the types of chronic diseases, what doctors you want to make sure are included in your plan, what prescriptions you take. We ask all those questions, and the more questions you fill out, the better a recommendation is. It's basically, if you've ever used Bumble or Tinder, we build our UX to be that simple. You swipe right if you like it, swipe left if you don't, and it just gets better as you go along. And the more questions you answer that are optional, the better obviously the matching is. So. By the way, and just to give you another quick answer there, average family of 4 people on healthcare.gov or through a broker takes an average of 2.5 hours to 3 hours. On our platform, 4 minutes to enroll.
You mentioned $9 million of revenue at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Where are you now?
488,000 in MRR, monthly recurring revenue, so roughly about, we're 5.5 million. And most of it's Q4 where we expect our biggest lift.
Got it. So revenue per customer.
It's $565 LTV, yeah. And we have a $200 CAC, so our cost of acquisition is roughly $200. We have about a 60% margin, gross margin, and roughly about a 20 to 30% net margin after obviously all expenses.
20 to 30% net, got it. So that 500 per customer, that's total gross that comes in and you pay out.
That's an 11-month retention plan. That's what our basically our retention looks like, customer and policy retention.
But that 500, that's gross.
Yeah, it's gross, yes.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, and we get paid by the insurance company. So the beautiful thing about all this is that we don't get paid a single dollar from the consumer. All of our app, all of our technology, everything you guys just saw is 100% free to the consumer. We get paid by the insurance companies to enroll the customers and provide them the membership. So we get paid $25 per member per month for every enrollee that we bring in, and we get an additional $26.40 for every dental, vision, and hearing policy we sell that member. And that's on a recurring basis for the lifetime of the policy. We estimate the policies last an average of 11 months because these are transactional policies. A lot of times people get them really quickly and then they leave them later on. So 11 months is the average LTV that we see for a customer. So that's the $560.
Got it.
Yeah.
So the $25 per month per member, that's your source of revenue, and
Correct.
it has nothing to do with any underwriting, or you're not exposed to any loss risk or anything like that?
Zero. We don't take any of the underwriting, and obviously through the government mandates, there's no disqualifying elements. Everybody is approved for health insurance through Obamacare and on exchange or off exchange. It just basically depends on how much you qualify for subsidy and whether the premium makes sense for the customer. That's the only disqualifying factor.
When did you start selling?
We started November 1st of last year.
Got it. And the customer acquisition, what are the channels, the inputs?
Mostly partnerships and direct to consumer. So we obviously have a lot of Facebook, a lot of Instagram, direct to consumer advertising that we do, but also a lot of it's to partnerships. We partner with brokers. We partner with companies like DoorDash, companies like Uber that basically drive customers, their 1099 employees, drive them to our platform to get them insured, because that obviously just makes sense for them. They get a benefit and they get paid for that as well.
What % is from direct online ads versus versus partnerships?
So direct online ads is a portion, about roughly 30%, I would say, of all of our total customer acquisition, and the rest 70% comes from our B2B partnerships, like we talked about. And we also obviously looking for more partnerships as part of what we did here in eMerge. Met with a lot of really great companies that are looking for these types of solutions for their 1099 base, and continue to grow as well.
Got it.
Is there anything that you foresee doing in the platform to increase?
I can't hear you.
Sorry, is there anything that you foresee doing within the platform to increase the 11-month lifetime value of the customer?
Yeah, so that's actually one of the biggest things that we're trying to do now. We're trying to add additional benefits like fitness and nutrition built into the app, but we're not trying to build it ourselves. We're actually partnering with companies that already have those technologies and that content and leverage their open source APIs to bring that into our solution to make it a more robust environment and more collaborative environment for the end consumer. The other thing we just signed a massive partnership with Elixir Solutions, the largest PBM, pharmacy benefit manager in the country, same company that is behind GoodRx. So if you guys are familiar with GoodRx, we just added the RX discount card that gives 80% discounts on all prescription, generic and brand prescriptions to our members. So now all of our members get an additional 80% prescription discount that they can compare whether their copay is $30 or their prescription discount is $15. They can see that instantly on the app in shop comparison without ever having to go to the pharmacy, and then they can refill. So as well.
All right, I'm gonna have to cut you off. Thank you so much,
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, judges.
Enjoy.
All right, our final and fifth pitch of the night. Let's welcome to the stage, from the late stage as well, Storybook.
Hello everyone, my name is Francisco. I'm the co-founder of Storybook, the #1 parent-child wellness and sleep app. And I want you all to imagine a world where children are happy and healthy. And this is not it. The abuse of screen time or busy lives and the lack of physical affection have massively increased children's mental and emotional health problems, putting 2 out of 3 kids in risk. But we can change this. This is Carla, the mom of 2 boys. Daniel, her eldest, was suffering from anxiety and trouble sleeping, just like other 800 million children. Lucky for them, she found Storybook, downloaded the app, created her account, and told us Daniel's condition, so we recommended audio stories for him to listen, while mom followed the relaxation techniques on the screen, just like this.
And touch the moon with their hands. Sarah climbed with short, slow steps, while she thought, will it taste like cheese?
I hope I'm not getting you sleepy yet. But this worked really well for Daniel because there was no screen time. The massage techniques increased the production of melatonin and oxytocin, but the most important thing is that mom was right there, engaged, present, providing all her love and affection to her own kid just before bedtime. And that's something that not even ChatGPT or AI, no technology will ever replace. Storybook is an award-winning app that combines relaxation techniques, bedtime stories, and music to help families improve their emotional health and sleep. We are a free-to-download app with a $59.99 yearly subscription plan, but we are also seeing traction in employee benefit programs, schools, CPG brands, and I will talk about this later on, and even healthcare providers. As per our latest study, with over 1,000 Storybook users, 79% of them told us that their kids are sleeping better, are sleeping up to 4 times faster, and 89% of the parents told us that they are now more connected with their kids. We really like that stat. We have been the #1 app in 90 countries. We've been called the best for bedtime by Apple. We have close to 3 million downloads, more than 10,000 5-star reviews. And I have a couple here, like this one from Jessie. We tried everything under the moon to get my 4-year-old to sleep. Now I'm more relaxed, she is more relaxed, no more bedtime fights. Can't praise this app enough. Or this one from Oscar. This app has made my nights so much more peaceful, also strengthened our father and son bond. We sold $1 million last year. We are set to reach 3 million this year and 100 million by 2026 by increasing our profitable social media campaigns, signing new distribution agreements, launching new B2B partnerships, and adding product-led growth initiatives. And I'm really excited to announce that we just signed a distribution agreement with a CPG brand that will put Storybook in the hands of 400,000 distributors worldwide starting this year. And we will get there with fantastic investors like Jason Calacanis or Google for Startups. We have amazing scientific advisors, experienced business advisors, and a fantastic team with experience with high-growth tech companies. And we are on track to do for infant well-being what Calm and Headspace did for adults. And these are our own kids sleeping. Thank you. If you're a parent, please download Storybook today. Join the #1 parent-child wellness sleep app. If you're an investor, reach out. We're raising. Thank you so much.
I like the
We have
you bring
we
as
have a
well,
crowd,
right?
yeah.
Way to close us out for the day. So I'm trying not to think about the massage thing.
Oh, me too.
Sleepy,
I'm like,
right?
can someone tap on my face?
Right? And
Rub my
wonder, what was it?
eyebrows?
Wonder if I taste like cheese? Is that what it said?
We get that. We get that a lot.
You get that a lot? But help me understand the business, about $1 million of revenue last year, 3 million downloads. Is that about, what, 20,000 paying subscribers?
Exactly right. 22,000 paying subscribers as of now.
So what happens, 3 million people download, about 1% become paying subscribers. Do the others start paying and try and then they churn, or is there a thing that we need to work on to get more to upgrade to begin with to paying subscribers? How are you thinking about that?
Yeah, and that's a great question. So in the B2C subscription space, it's something that is very typical is that you will get just a fraction of the user base paying for the service for everyone else, which in a way it's great because there's no barrier to entry for everyone to get the benefit, and we have a percentage of people paying for the service. And download is really a vanity metric, so it depends if those are Android-based downloads from South America or iOS downloads from the US. So the conversion rates are really, really different. In iOS US, which is our best market, most of our revenue comes from there, we are reaching over 12% conversion rate from install to subscription, which is 4 times the industry average. So we have worked a lot on that conversion funnel. We have great metrics, like world-class metrics. And in terms of churn and how we get them to stay, we right now have users across parents with newborns all the way to 12-year-olds. And we have content for all those age ranges. We have users that have been using the app like every week for more than 150 weeks. So there's definitely something interesting there long term.
Got it.
Tell me what exactly is the competitive advantage around Storybook that stops like Calm from just adding or enhancing like their children or their parenting experience on their app?
That's a great question. And Calm or Headspace are really focused on a different market, and their use case is quite different. So what we do is that Storybook is a 2-person app, which is an entirely different thing for Calm or Headspace. They already have a massive catalog. Adding something this different for those apps wouldn't really help them. So I think it makes sense. It makes more sense to them to acquire rather than copy. But our competitive advantage is that something that doesn't happen with Calm and Headspace is that you're listening to those stories and it's something abstract. You're engaging with the brand, perhaps. Children act in a different way. They are engaging with the characters, and we own that IP. So 90% of the content we have has been created by my co-founder, and the kids are engaging with these characters. So that's something that long-term will definitely be important for us.
So I remember meeting you here, maybe last year or the year before you were here.
We didn't make it to the finals. We were here last year.
But I remember talking to you out there, and I've got a little girl at home. She was having a hard time sleeping. So I took your advice and thought about it and came home and I started massaging her to help her go to sleep. Now I'm gonna tell you, now she wants to be massaged for like 30 minutes and I can't get her to go to bed. So thank you, but no thank you, but thank you. No, you're right, it's bonding time. But my question is, like, I didn't really use the app. I took your idea to do it because I was having trouble with the screen time because she was not falling asleep because of the light of the screen. So how do you reconcile that? Like, how do you get people to use the screen but create like the dark, calming environment?
I'm really happy it's working. It worked for you. What we have done in terms of the experience of the app, it's the content piece, like you saw the example right there. We try to make it the less exciting for the kid. So it's very simple. Like the app is really beautifully designed all the way to that screen, so the kids don't getting engaged with that. We are working on an Apple Watch version, so even less screen time, and smart speakers as well. So a couple of things around that is that we have released a lot of new content that is more on the audio-based side of things, so guided breathing exercises, for example, or even affirmations. And the whole idea is you don't get kids distracted with the screen. We are making a lot of UI changes. But yeah, I would encourage you to give it a go again and see the new things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Storybook. All right, let's give it up one last time for all 5 finalists this evening. Our judges have a tough task ahead of them. They're going to go backstage right now, deliberate for a few minutes, come back on stage with the check and announce our winner this evening. Back to the stage, we'll welcome Mel and Felice.
Are there any votes out there for anybody? I mean,
Are we going to do raising votes?
Anyone? Yeah, I want to hear it. Does anybody pick a particular one? Yell it out.
Anyone? Going to yell it out?
All right.
All right, thank you, everyone. We'll be back.
Gregor Salto, Buddha, Papayo, Mr. Worldwide.
How awesome was that?
Amazing. Woo! Come on, let's give them another round of applause.
Those pitches were fire.
Wow. I mean, it's just that every year we just take it up to a whole nother level.
I was inspired by those pitches. I get very nervous when we're pitching as an entrepreneur, and the confidence and poise that they all showed was incredible.
Incredible, incredible. No, that is not an easy job now for those judges. I'm so grateful not to be one of the judges.
Yeah, same.
Not going to be an easy decision.
So as they're deliberating, we're going to make some really incredible announcements. As you know, and as we've mentioned, eMerge is truly a year-round platform, and we're organizing executive summits, programming throughout the entire year. Just last weekend, we had an incredible group of developers who participated in the eMerge and IronHack 2-day hackathon at the Miami-Dade Idea Center. The theme, very relevant, was Miami's AI future. I want to thank all of the sponsors for helping make this happen. It was presented by Kaseya, supported by Bank United, Miami-Dade College, the Miami Marlins. We have a special guest from the Miami Marlins backstage coming out soon. And of course, the engine behind the entire hackathon was IronHack.
Let's give them a round of applause.
We had over 120 developers who came up with amazing solutions. However, the team that won created a predictive flood model for Miami built from machine learning technology coupled with 3D AR app. It's going to allow city officials to visualize impacts of storm-induced flooding so they can proactively work to help residents. How incredible is that?
Wish we would have had it a couple weeks ago.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Even a week ago. So please help me in welcoming to the stage the winners of our $10,000 cash prize, along with our sponsors, Kaseya and IronHack. The winner is Impatient Software.
Yeah.
Come on up. Woo!
No fighting.
Come on up.
We got the refugees. No fighting.
Amazing.
With his Magic Leap Creator 2 edition.
I really knew that she could dance like this. She make a man wanna speak Spanish. Como se llama? Bonita. Shakira.
Oh, baby, when you talk like that.
First, we would like to thank Para for helping out gig workers, and also Valerie come here to the U.S. Second, I would like to thank Valerie and Don for agreeing to donate the full $10,000 to my high school robotics team that is First Base.
Amazing.
And third, I'm going to leave you with the Teddy Roosevelt quote. Get action, seize the moment. Man is never intended to become an oyster.
Amen.
Congrats. Stay right here.
Amen.
Kaseya, Iron Hack.
Please come on up.
Come on out. We have a check that they are donating. Talk about paying it forward and full circle.
Amen.
That's incredible. Woo!
Yeah.
You guys in the middle. You guys in the middle.
Hips don't lie, and I'm starting to feel it's right. All the attraction, the tension. Don't you see, baby, this is perfection.
Where's him? Javi? Javi? Kaseya? Come on, Javi.
Come on, Javi.
Come on, Javi. This is not your first show. Exactly.
So you could keep on shaking it. Never really knew that she could dance like this. She make a man wanna speak Spanish. Como se llama?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank
Congratulations
you.
again.
Congrats.
Thank you for paying it forward. I see there are a lot of folks out there by the entrance. We've got some empty seats. Come on down.
Iron Hacks.
Please come on down. We got some seats. And some folks over there as well.
You're going to stay on stage.
And if Iron Hack could please stay up here as well. I want to thank again Kaseya, but also I want to thank Iron Hack for your partnership.
Nice surprise.
This is actually a partnership that's very near and dear to my family's heart because my cousin came from Cuba a year ago and was able to do one of their boot camps, and it literally changed his life. And he's sitting right there in the second row.
Woo!
This guy's like my little brother. It's a dream come true to be able to have him here. And when we say technology literally changes lives, that's the God honest truth. But it would not be possible without us helping empower and invest in the skills development needed to be able to leverage that technology. And so to this end, we are proud for once again to partner with Iron Hack to provide a scholarship for our own homegrown talent here in Miami to be able to access high-skilled, high-paying jobs that the new innovation economy has to offer. And so with that, I want to say thank you again. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of our heart.
It's on.
It's honestly a pleasure. Thank you for believing in us. I remember my first eMerge. I was talking to Javi 9 years ago in going to the Lincoln Road parking lot where we had the little party. And I am so proud of the progress and transformation that we made in the city through the hard work of organizations like eMerge, like Iron Hack. And we're as excited as we were 10 years when we arrived to the city to continue building, keep developing the talent pool of the city, and including more people in the technology conversation, which for us is the future and everything. So thanks again for the partnership.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you so much. So we have a special visitor who they were one of the supporting sponsors of the hackathon as well, and we did not know this was happening. So Caroline, president of the Marlins, and Billy, I think we all know Billy.
Yeah.
We just want to say thank you again for having us here, Melissa, Felice. It's been an amazing event, partnering with Ariel, Lisa, Kevin, the whole Iron Hack team's a special opportunity for us in the community of Miami. So really happy to be here and be partners. And when those scholarship winners come in to have their classes at Lone Depot Park, we'll be really proud to be part of that.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Take these back. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And just as we did last year, we're honored to once again partner with Google for Startups in awarding one of the eMerge 2023 startups a $500,000 non-dilutive...
No. 150,000.
What did I say?
500.
500,000.
Maybe
That's
next
year.
Yeah, exactly.
That's next year.
He's always thinking ahead, people. Always.
That's right. A $150,000.
Google for Startups is back there like
Sweating it. I'm sure.
It's been a long week.
It's been a long week, but well worth it. But it's a $150,000 non-dilutive cash award to a Latino startup within the eMerge Startup Showcase cohort as part of their Latino Founders Fund, which they launched on the eMerge stage last year. Please join us in welcoming Google's Danny Navarro.
Christian Torres. Come on up.
Come on up, please.
Woo!
And while Christian is coming up, we are...
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they stay there, and they stay there.
Felicitaciones.
Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there. Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never win no.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Ramiro.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Danny. Thank you to the entire team. All right, you think they're ready?
That's a great question.
Tammy, are the judges ready to announce a winner? Are we good? Find out. Felice, start making some more promises while I find out.
We still got some folks back there. Feel free to come on in. I mean, this is a really tough deliberation. They're ready. Nice.
Judges, please come on up. Tammy, please come on up. Dan. Woo!
Yeah.
How did you guys pick?
Yeah, it was incredible. I'll just keep putting it up.
Yep. I want to thank the judges. The check. Oh, I need the check.
Hold on, we need a
Very
check.
They don't want us. They want the
There you
check,
go.
right?
Wait, no, you
We
turn.
don't know who won yet either. This is so exciting.
Yes. And if right before we hear the judges and their reasoning for their deliberation, I just want to recognize Dan Herrera, our managing director and advisor for the startup programs.
Made everything move flawlessly for these startups.
Invested his blood, sweat, and tears into this whole program, and we're just so grateful. So grateful.
And as Felice said, I think before announcing who won, Tammy is going to make the announcement. I would love just any comments from the judges, the deliberation process. Oh, you guys are mic'd. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there's, 5 great companies. I fully expect all 5 of them to be successful. I think once again, you saw a tremendous amount of applications come in of all great companies, all the ones we walked around and saw. So I think there's gonna be a lot of success here happening out of eMerge, and the one that we picked, we were all unanimous, and I think we're excited about it.
Good about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the energy for one, the
Brought it
ideas,
this year.
they brought it.
Brought it.
So it was a fun experience for us as judges, and then just keep going, right? Like the really great companies made it really hard for us, but it's only upwards from here for them. So we're excited to see what's next.
No, absolutely. It was, the enthusiasm. I enjoy what I get to do every day because you're watching in real time some dreamer who has an idea that you're going to go from nothing to something and break through all barriers. And we saw just 5 examples of that just now on the stage. And solving problems that some are common problems that we all experience, some are problems that we just never thought of. Like, how did you even think to go work on that? Right. And I believe that all 5 of these are going to build really successful companies. And they're going to grow up and employ lots of people and have big campuses and be big sponsors of eMerge. And so congrats to, like that part?
Thanks, I like that. Felice loves that.
You're going to see those logos go from being on the stage competing for a check to writing checks to
It's
help
already
the
happened,
ecosystem,
which
right?
is amazing, seeing them come back and be part of eMerge. All right, so Tammy.
Drum roll.
Are we ready for that?
Yeah, we need
Now
something.
we need a real drum roll.
We need
Come
something.
on, DJ.
Okay.
No drum roll.
The crowd has to drum roll, man. This is a big moment.
All right, one last round of applause for all 5.
Yes.
And your 2023 eMerge Showcase Showdown winner is Healthbird.
Healthbird, come on out.
Win, no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up.
Is Healthbird still in the building?
And they stay there.
Woo, come on out. Where's your part?
Come on up,
Come on up. You're part of the team. Come on up here.
Want to hold it or?
Yeah, come on up.
Here.
This is yours, man.
Congratulations.
You're gonna try to hold it?
Yeah.
Get her in there.
I'll get like in.
Give it up for Healthbird.
Congratulations.
All right.
They want to
Camera here. All right.
Thank you, judges.
Congratulations.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
congratulations.
Healthbird. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's yours.
That's for you. And you'll get the real money soon, I promise.
All right, awesome. All right, I guess we'll go this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Alicia, thank you so much. So much fun. Thank you. All right. I think everyone's ready for some cocktails.
I think everyone's ready to party. The party does continue. If you got a VIP pass, we'll see you at the closing beach party.
On Collins and 18th.
That's right.
On the sand, so leave your shoes behind.
That's right. And then tomorrow morning, for those who can wake up, we'll be doing a beach cleanup to celebrate Earth Day with the Miami Tech ecosystem community.
And next year, we will see you all back at eMerge Americas 2024 on April 18th and 19th. So mark your calendars. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.